Okay, so last class we talked about adding detail and we went ahead and did that. So we added a bunch of detail to our guy over here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see some of this detail. Gave him some pores, messed with his teeth, made him look kind of a lot gnarlier. So today I want to kind of do the same for some of the rest of them. So I want to start adding some more detail to like the jacket, fix up the spanner weapon thing that he's got here, and yeah. And I want to show you guys how to use IMM brushes. These are the insert mesh brushes and things like that. So what I've been just going around and doing right now is kind of messing with like some of these cloth hook tool things and adding some more kind of cloth simulation things to the jacket area. So like I'm just going through, making it, try to make it make sense, obviously. So where I'm getting pulls, I'm doing that, and then I'm going back to my move tool and using that to augment it as well. Let me pull my microphone a little bit closer so the audio isn't completely and utterly garbaggio. So, and I've gone and taken my subdivision down, right? If I turn it back up, you can see that it gets a lot smoother, but I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna actually delete the higher subdivisions for now because I want to add IMM brushes to it. So now what I'm just doing is, I'm just gonna use my move tool to kind of grab some of these parts, make it look more realistic. Maybe shift to smooth.
Professor?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, could you do me a favor? Could you, I'm having trouble seeing, can you display the monitor instead of the uh,
Oh,
OBS?
instead of OBS. Okay, yeah. Let me change that right quick. Is this better?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, much
Awesome,
better.
awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, that must be annoying as shit. So I do apologize for that. Um,
No worries.
let me let me go back to my snake or my cloth tool. So I've been trying to, going back and forth with these guys with the cloth. So there's some like this cloth slide, which is pretty cool, right? If you move it around, it helps you like kind of slide around the drapery a little bit. I've also been messing with the cloth hook and the nudge tool. These are pretty good. You just want to make sure that you've got them kind of turned down quite a bit so that you're not doing too much, right? It gives it just a little bit of um, of movement, BMV, to get my move tool back going on there, and then I can just pull this guy right back down, right? So that's been my kind of my process so far. It's just going back and forth with the tools, with the move tool here, and then using the clothing nudge brushes very subtly, obviously, to kind of, let me move this. What I'm doing now is I'm moving the arm out of the way, the arm that's inside. Eventually, I'm gonna delete it and get it out of there so that it's just the cloth, right? Because we've got a lot of the body still showing, and the only part of the body we're gonna need for our render is obviously the jacket portion of it. So I'm just going through, and then the cool thing about starting with this kind of nudge tool, nudge brush, dealio, is then go in and refine it a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna turn off symmetry because my symmetry should be off. Alright, I'm just gonna move these in so you can't see it. I don't want it to affect my jacket geometry as I'm working on it. So just going back and forth. Alright. Just gonna move this guy a little bit further in. Alright. Alright, and as you guys see, that I've got some of that mesh still protruding through from the other side, so just using what I got so far. Alright. Okay, this is pretty decent. And I like keeping it this low. And remember, I went ahead and I deleted the higher resolution of it, right? So, let me get, I got a message. Let me see what the message is. That's fun. Okay. So I'm getting some pretty, good results from what I've got so far. I'm gonna maybe go back to my cloth brush again. Ooh, let's see what this cloth wind does. It's gonna be so interesting to see. Let's see. Oh, that's too much. You can obviously turn down the intensity of it, right? Right, so that you're getting, right, you see what it kind of does? It's giving me some of those ripples. I like that. I like it. All right, and I might do some this way. All right, and I want to do some this way. Because if you look on the concept art, he's got like a lot of these interesting ripples going on there. He's got really big ones, right? Really big zigzags, and then he's got these littler wrinkles going on. So I do want to facilitate that as well. So I'm just going through, grabbing some of these nudge tools, right? Nudging a little bit. Let's see if we can get something more interesting going on. There we go. BMV, that's my move tool. I'm just moving this bag out. Moving it in so that we don't see any of that. All we see is jacket. Just gonna smooth this out. Smooth this out a little bit. Maybe move this guy a little bit. Maybe move this arm out just a little bit, just so we're getting more of this. Oof. It is definitely thundering out there. There we go. I'm just turning around so I can see what it looks like on all sides, just to make sure that I'm getting something that works. So BCT, I'm going to go to my clay tubes a little bit just to give it a little bit more. Just a little bit more info right here. A little more on the knuckles. Right? Just so my circles are still circular in that sense. My spheres are spherical, making sure. Alright. Just gonna try to define those a little bit more. Alt to do the subtraction. Right? Trying to make it look a little bonier. Just a little smooth, just a little smooth action. Kind of even that back out. Go smooth this out. Just kind of smooth, smooth. So now it looks like it's kind of penetrating into his jacket. BMV, that's my move tool. All right, I'm just going back and forth. Just gonna probably bury this guy in there. All right, move this guy out a little bit. All right. Move this guy over a little bit. Now it looks like it's kind of digging into his flesh, and then I can go to the jacket portion of it. BCT, maybe give it a little bit so it looks like where he's kind of ripped into it a little bit. It's a little depressed there because it would definitely affect where it's torn at. So that's what I'll, just little things, right? Thinking about what's affecting what. Right. Let me go back to my cloth brushes here. Let's see, what's this cloth fold do? That's interesting. Do it. I think I really do like this little hook one the best. Does an all right job. All right, so I like this direction that it's going. I'm gonna pull it in that direction. All right, pull in this direction a little bit. Alright, for the bottom part, I can just maybe make this a little bigger so it looks like it's little bit more on there. And then I can go to my BMV, my move tool, right, grab this just to make it look a little like the jacket's kind of gravity's affecting a little bit more. Maybe tuck this in a little bit. Right. I want to give his arm a little bit more shape, more of an interesting shape. So I squeeze this in, right? I'm going to hold down shift to smooth, but I'm going to reduce my smoothing quite a bit. There we go. Just so I'm getting something more subtle, because it's doing a lot. Alright. So you guys can see when you smooth it out, it just makes it just look a little more natural, a little more realistic. And I'm still using just the move brush to nudge these pieces into place, back in shape. All right. All right, let's go with this guy. Use this to I want it to look like gravity is affecting it, so I'm just going to use my move tool to pull down this. Move tool. Alright, and then you can go B, C. Let's use one of our cloth brushes again, and I can BMV, and then you can use the move tool. I'm going to increase the size of the move tool, so now it affects way more. Right? Even affect this a little bit, so I can put this arm back in. Go. Switch over to this guy. I'm going to divide it once, twice. So there's two different types of smoothing you can do. So let me Control Z this twice, right? So when you're in this panel, there's two types of subdivision you can do. So right now, if I do it with the smoothing on, I'm pretty sure I've showed you that guys this before. If I do it with the smoothing on, it'll do that smooth that you see and average everything. But if I do that, all that's gonna do is it's gonna increase the amount of topology. So if I want more harder edges, right, I will do this type of smooth to my object. Maybe do it once, maybe twice, right? Let me move this around again. Let's do a polyframe, and then I'll turn on the smooth, right? And then now if I divide it one more time, it will be something like that, right? So then I can shift to smooth all of this out, shift to smooth it, shift to smooth. All right, B, C, and then let's just do the clay. And what the clay is kind of good for is kind of it can do a little bit of damage to your object, right? So I can go in and just kind of weather it a little bit. Start to weather my my tool a little bit more, right? Just make it look like it's been used, beat up. Shift to smooth. Shift to smooth it all the way around. All right. Go BC, BCB, and then I'm just going to use that again to, actually no, BCB. Maybe reduce the intensity a little bit. Just want to sort of damage it a little bit. I'm just using this to close some of these holes that I see here. Alt to select it, and then I'm using the move tool. Tuck this guy back in. Alright, so let's go back to the hand a little bit. And the knuckles are pretty damaged, so like it's relatively easy to kind of work this guy up, right? So all you're gonna need to do is just move this guy up a little bit. B, C, B. Let's do the clay build-up tool, and then I'm gonna use this to kind of just build that up a little bit. Boom. Right. Make it look like a very bony, very, you know. Alright, and then maybe we'll divide it one time, and then I will do, let's see, maybe use some of these alphas. Let's do alpha off, and then I'm going to go BST. And I like to use my standard brush to do all of these kind of moves, right? Where I can then just kind of use some of these. And I'm not going to go too ham right now. I just want to add a little bit of interest here. All right. And I did download some alphas that were like the knuckles, so I'll use that to show you guys, how that would work. So let me see, where's the wrinkles? So I do have a knuckles alpha that I'll just throw in my downloads. Actually cancel, I already have it there then. So let's go to my downloads, and then in my alphas, I'm going to import it. Download knuckles alpha. So now I've got this knuckle alpha that I can use. I'm going to drag. Alright, so right now it's on Z sub. Let's do Z add. Alright, and it'll kind of mimic what the knuckles look like. Alright, and I can use this for pretty much all of it. Use this on all the knuckles. Maybe let's do that one more time. Alright. Alright. And you guys see, like, the more you layer this stuff, the better this stuff is going to start to look, right? I started low, layered some on the lower end, then I start to kind of add more detail to it as I go. Alright, now his hand looks mad gnarly, like it's supposed to, like. Right, and it's a process. Like, it's not gonna happen just like that. You have to take your time with it. You have to, like, just keep working it up from lowest subdivision, and then keep going up that way. And I'm going a little fast just to show you guys, what you can really start to work with. All right, this kind of looks good. I can also, if I want to go the extra mile, I'm going to go BDS. Alright, and what I can do is, I'm going to take my Damien standard, and then kind of just, maybe go down a couple subdivs. Okay. And just, the intensity is a little high. If the Damien standard isn't working, I can use. I want to just kind of build up these little pads under the. You might not even see it, but it's nice to kind of have them, right? I'm just gonna build these little pads up underneath the fingers and whatnot. And I could probably use remesher or two on this at this point. So with this, maybe I do that, right? Just to help it out a little bit. And you'll see when I go back up, a lot of that detail will still be there. It'll just be a little bit weirder looking. So I might need to go back and do my alphas again, but that's okay. You're building up. You're building up. Right? You're building up where the bone's gonna be, right? Versus the knuckles, right? You guys know the process at this point. Right, and smooth it out a little bit, smooth it out a little bit there. Then if I go back up in subdivision, you'll see what I'm talking about. See, now it kind of looks like that bone is in there a little bit, and you still got a lot of that detail. All right, let's take it back off solo. Maybe solo this guy a little bit, and then just kind of beat him up a little bit. Just kind of beat it up a little bit. Maybe go here. I might want to add maybe a texture of actually. Let's do texture off. And I told you guys BST. I like to do a lot of my alpha stuff on the standard brush. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Just gonna grab maybe not these cracks. Let's find something interesting to do to the maybe do something like this. Just so it looks maybe like it's a little bit. Alright, like it's been used and abused. It's not seen the best of days. He probably doesn't take good care of his implements or his weapons of choice. He doesn't, doesn't take good care of them, so it's gonna have some wear and tear on it. All right, let's grab another one. I want some kind of cracks. Let's see, maybe these. Here we go. There we go. Something like that. All right. So what I'm trying to look for is right now, whenever I do something on the back, it affects the front. So I'm trying to look for is it in my modifiers? Auto masking, I think. And I'm gonna turn on back face. So now whenever I do something, it doesn't affect what happens on the back. All right. I just want to give it a little bit of information, a little love, so that whenever we do our like render or something, it's got just some interesting things going on there. You see it's got some of these like striations, these lines here, right? We can definitely facilitate that look, right? Let's give it something interesting. And you see that because I turned on that back facing, it's not affecting what's going on the other side. All right? So it's kind of what I'm going for. All right, BCB, that's my clay brush. And then I can use that to reduce this a little bit, just beat it up a little bit more. All right, just beat it up. Speed it up. too much. Alright, so let's see, BF A, that's the flatten brush, and I'm going to use this to kind of flatten some of these parts out a little bit more. Just give me some more planar edges. Just flattening these out. Alright, a lot of it's going to be obscured by his hand anyway, but that's fine. He's got kind of a weather beaten kind of tool that he's got to use. All right. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to show you guys how to use the IMM brush. So the IMM brush is essentially an insert mesh. It lets you insert different types of tools and meshes and things to different objects. So I'm going to go BI. And then whenever you go into your insert meshes, it's got a bunch of them here. Alright, so I've got parts, which I want to probably use this button. So I'm probably going to try either this button or something else, but let's see. Yeah, I want to use the button. I can start from scratch and make the button, but I could also just, you know, grab one from this insert mesh brush tool to get my stuff working. There you go. So looking at the mesh, the guy has two buttons at the lower part right here. Yeah, I think this is an error, but I think he's got some buttons up there too, but the ones we can see are right here. So I'm just gonna make one right there. Make one right there. Oops. To make sure they're the same size, I just control grabbed it and then I placed it on. Then I'm just gonna scale it a little bit. Actually, let me do that to the first one so they're the same. Because this, and I'm scaling from, I don't know if this is ZBrush, so it might be yeah, this is the Z axis. Different programs will treat Y and Z differently, so that's why I was like, ZBrush. Let me figure out what it is. Alright, so I've got one button there. And then if I hold down control, I can drag another button a little further down. Alright. So I want to make sure that my button is on the jacket. So on the Z axis, I'm going to move it down like so. Maybe rotate it a little bit to make sure that it is on there. Right. Now I've got my buttons. But alright. It's gonna save. Alright, let's turn on off my poly frames. Now I've got my buttons in there. Coolio. Let's see what else I can start adding to this guy. He's got some like interesting glowing bits in there. We might add that into his skin, so like it looks like it's like part of his power doohickey, whatever. So B, C, B, and then I'm gonna go maybe here like so. Like it's got like he's got like a skin issue or something, and then we'll make it glow later on and maybe post or something. So I'm just gonna add that to it. All right. So little things like this that I'm noticing that I'm trying to kind of incorporate into my model, it usually helps. All right. B, C, B. All right, just like that. Next thing I want to do is BST, which is the standard tool, and then I'm going to use that to maybe throw some wrinkles over it so it kind of blends in a little better. All right, just to blend it in a little bit better. All right, so now we're starting to get somewhere. All right, so we've got the little, you see what I'm talking about. So I got that in there. I've got my buttons in on my brush, on my jacket here. So maybe I'll do a divide to smooth it out once, maybe twice. Now this is good enough for now. I'll do the same here. Divide. And then let's go to my surface. Let me actually, I isolated it. So now I'm going to go to my surface, go to my noise, and then I'm going to edit this bad boy. All right. So this is like that weave pattern that I've got going. Let's zoom out a little bit. And then the alpha scale, you just need to turn this bad boy really far down. Hit OK. Do the same for here. So for the lapels, I'm going to do noise. Let's open. Nope. Let's go to the noise plug. I didn't really show you guys how to use this yesterday, so let me show you guys. Zigzag wood, no. Let's do a weave. Hit OK. Right. You guys can see it now. Starting to show up. Maybe reduce the the strength a little bit. Hit OK. So I've got kind of like a weave texture on top of that. Alright, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to my geometry. I'm going to delete the lower, and then go back to my surface noise, and then surface, apply it to this mesh. It's going to look a little janky, but once again, I told you guys the only way to fix this would be I would need to divide it one more time, but you can see it takes a little bit of time. Then I would yeah, so like I'm not gonna, yeah, let's not do that. It's just too much. It's not necessary. And that's why a lot of the times people will just wait to do this kind of thing in in your texturing process inside of like Substance Painter, Mari, Marmoset, or something like that. You can start getting crazy amounts of, you know, geo numbers and stuff like that in here. So I think for the purpose of looks, this is fine for in here. And I like to show you guys how to do it in here just so you guys know. But I just want to give you guys the heads up that, hey, chances are if you're going to have to do this on the job, you're going to want to do that shit in texture. Alright, moving this guy back in. Just to clear up some spice for him so he can feel too big in the suit. Alright. Okay. So we've got something pretty interesting now for the most part. And the reason the pattern kind of moves with the mesh right now is because I haven't finalized it. I haven't baked it into the mesh. All right. Okay, so we've got some interesting stuff going on. I'll do the BST. Let's do the quick kind of foray into kind of getting this guy worked up. This guy's pretty easy. I'm really just gonna start throwing these guys on here. All right, and then maybe divide it one more time. All right. Just to give them a little bit of the same treatment, and then, like I said, get the knuckles out. I get that. Get the knuckles out of that bad boy, and then it starts to really kind of look like a hand pretty quickly. And you'll be surprised how much like some of these little details will take you if you're just diligent about the process. Alright. And these are just alphas. These are free alphas that you can find on ZBrush Central. So yeah, don't hesitate to go grab some. So I'm just gonna grab one of these again. Maybe this alien skin. There you go. Just give it some more interest. Give it a little bit of this treatment right here. I'm not going to go too crazy or any further than that. Whoops, missed a little spot. All right. So we're getting closer to finishing some of these details on this guy. The next part I want to do is, let me see. So right now it looks like my texture is going on my buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate this guy. And I'm going to go into my subtools. Actually, let's go into visibility. Geometry, subtool, and then I want to split. I'm going to split hidden. And what that's going to do is it's going to take those buttons, it's going to remove them from the mesh itself. Oh, I just realized I'm missing this little pocket here. I'm going to add this pocket to it. I'm going to split it. So now it's going to it's going to remove the buttons, put it on its own subtool. And then I'll have my jacket on the subtool so that my buttons can be smooth. My jacket will have that kind of cloth looking texture to it. It's taking a while. It's taking its time. Subdividing the geo for some reason, so I'm just going to give it a little second or two to do its thing. It might crash, so you got to be careful. Ooh, now that we're even talking about it, did you guys see that new GTA trailer that dropped? That thing looks pretty sick. Guys at Rockstar always outdo themselves. Let's go here. So,
is it going to be $500?
I mean, at this point, you're gonna have to take out a home loan, mortgage your first grandson. It's they are outdoing themselves. But it's back to Vice City again, so it's It's gonna be interesting. It's one of those games that's like, man, I just know you're about to take up so much of my time. Like, it's one of those games that me and my wife play like together. Like, we try to beat the story mode. Like, I'll take a mission, she'll take a mission. You know, like it's one of those franchises that they know how to get you in there. You know, every time I think I'm out, they keep pulling me back in. All right, so yeah, that's what I wanted to do right there, which is just make it so that you know that is separated from the mesh. Now we've got weave pattern on the jacket, smooth texture on our buttons. Our hand is kind of textured. Everything's kind of got this micro detail noise. And some people would go a little further than this. Like some people would, some people would go further. Is all I'll say. But the next part of this probably is going to be us using ZModeler to create a lot of these little things in the back. So like what I'm probably going to do is you just create one of them and then you just duplicate it around, right? And then I'll create like the tree, the lightning and things like that, the background accoutrements. And then after that, we will do the hair, the texturing, lighting, and then boom. And those might be like a separate tutorial in the sense that like I'm probably going to let you guys go here in a little bit. And then we'll discuss, I'll record the video or the footage and then do that and then just upload it for you guys. Let's do a quick BPR render. There we go. So you guys can see like he's got some decent texture to him. And it's starting to kind of come alive, right? Like I'm starting to dig it a little bit more. And like I said, it takes time. Like it takes a lot of time to really put, the level of detail you want into some of these guys. But the more you work it, the more you put in it, the more you'll get out of it, So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me so far? All right. If you guys don't have any questions for me for today, you guys are free to go. I will post this guy up. This is a shorter class today. I hope you guys stay out of the rain. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you back here on Thursday, I believe. So let me zoom in so the camera can capture some of this detail work that you've done in here. Let's do a BPR, quick BPR render, and then yeah, we're gonna get to composite it. I'm gonna do some I'm gonna do a lot of the different passes and things like that you can do. We're gonna render out all the passes. Maybe even mix and match paint and different things like that so we can do some comp tests for our zombie guy. All right. Coolio. Yeah, that's it for today. This guy's been kind of fun to do, so yeah.